Happy New Year, and thanks for watching the first ever Moose Scrapper show. I'm going to give this a whirl. I'm going to try and put one of these out once a month, and tell me what you think. So this first show, I'm going to be starting off with a successful run of the reverse electroplating with silver. Thanks to a lot of great comments from all kinds of people who watched the first video, which was, I'm not going to say a failure, it was a good way to show how not to do it, or what can go wrong. So we're going to take a look at this process that I've got down now, that it works great, it works pretty quickly. And the great thing is you don't need to use any chemicals besides table salt. So let's take a look. Alright, so to start off, I changed a few things from the last video. Took a lot of people's suggestions and just threw it all at the experiment, and it worked perfect. The first thing that I did was I switched from iodized salt to non-iodized salt. So I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons in there. I'm using this beaker, by the way, not because it's anything special besides the fact that the sides are tall and straight, so it's just about the perfect height for like a spoon to fit in. Alright, so now I'm going to fill my beaker up with some warm water. I found no indication that the temperature really makes a difference. It's just easier to dissolve the salt in the warm water. Alright, so I filled that puppy pretty much all the way up to the top, and I'm going to stir it around a little bit. Alright, so we're going to clamp, my silver-plated spoon in. Now, a quick tip is, if you're going to use a spoon or a fork, make sure that the rounded edge is towards the inside of the glass, because if it's stuck to the side, it doesn't deplate very well. Alright, now the second thing that I changed was the quality of my stainless steel spoon. Last time I used a knife, and it said stainless steel on it, but it wasn't non-magnetic stainless steel. This one is, and it's made a world of a difference. So again, rounded side towards the inside. Clamp that bugger down. Alright. So all that's left to do is to connect the power. So you want to make sure that you got your black onto the stainless steel and red on silver. Alright, and now I'm going to plug it in, and you can see the bubbling start up already. Alright, so now the other thing that I changed was the car charger. This one is a 12 volt. It can either be set on 2 amps or 6 amps. I've set it on 6 amps. And that seems to make all the difference. That beeping you just heard was me setting the stove timer. I just set the timer to 8 minutes. I'm going to let this go, and we should be done. Alright, so while that's going, I want to show you quickly my messy sink here. This is what I did last night. So I don't know if you can see in the bottom there, that's all deplated silver. And you know, there's a good bit in there. I pulled off, let's see, 4 spoons and like a butter knife. Right. You have them pretty much all completely except for the ends. I'll do that part later. But I mean, as you can see, they get all chewed up looking and nasty, and that's pretty much all deplated. Now, one of the things that, one of the comments that I've got that I wanted to pay attention to but found wasn't really accurate was the amp meter on the charger. can see that right there. Alright, now when you're doing reverse electroplating on gold, in what they call a gold cell, what you're going to notice is as the gold is removed off the plated items, you're going to see a drop in the amperage. With this, I've not found that at all. In fact, quite the opposite. I find the amperage tends to go up the longer it's in there. So I'm not quite sure why that is, but that's what's happening. So we're going to take a closer look here at the spoon. You can see how it's starting to turn all dark and nasty. And what you're going to see, especially like right along the edges here, you're going to start to see like it's going to start peeling up a little bit. You might see some green goo coming out of it. The water is going to turn green. That's most likely just the copper going into the solution. And that's about it. So one of the things that you're going to notice, and that I noticed in Guy Foster's video, was the development of like an orange cloud. It's like this really thick, almost spongy kind of stuff that really clogs up your filters. Now I know that one of the selling points of this process is that it's chemical free, but if you add just a tablespoon of hydrochloric acid, the cloud disappears. It totally dissolves. So that leads me to believe that it's all just base metal, all just like copper, and the acid just puts it into solution. Silver won't dissolve with HCl, so that stays there. And it also, the HCl will also help clean up any copper that's stuck to the silver foils or chunks that come off these utensils. Alright, so 5 more minutes on the clock. We'll be back in a few. Alright, so the timer just went off. So we hit the 8-minute mark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug the power supply. Alright. Now, you're going to notice that the color is turning like a greenish, bluish yellow. That, again, I believe is just base metal coming out into the solution. You're also going to see that the temperature is changing. The water is going to be warming up. That's normal. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to disconnect that and pull that out. And you can see how it's starting to separate along the edge. You can see that white powder, which I believe that white stuff is silver as well, but the nitric will sort that out. So what I've got next to this is a jar of just warm water. I'm just going to shake it off a bit in there, get any of that funky stuff off of it. And I've got a butter knife here. Hopefully that's in view. Alright. So all I'm going to do is just run the butter knife over it, and you can see the silver is just flaking right off. Alright. So I'm flaking it off into this little jar of fresh water. Sometimes you get nice big flakes, sometimes not, that's fine. It's all still silver. I've tried leaving this in for longer periods of time to see if the plate would just totally come off, and I didn't find that to happen. So unfortunately the scraping process is still required. But it does come off pretty easy, so it's not like I need to really put a lot of effort into it. I'm just going to make sure I get it all. thing you're going to find that if your utensil has like really fine designs or scroll work or any kind of stuff like that, that stuff is going to be hard to get off there as well, but give it your best. Alright, so I'd say that's pretty clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wipe it down with this little paper towel that I have here. And I'm going to keep this paper towel because some of that white stuff I believe is silver. I could be wrong, but anyways, that goes into what they call your sweeps. It's stuff that you process for precious metals. It's all your coffee filters and things like that. So keep that to the side. So this one, it looks pretty clean. You can run it through again. It's going to make the water change orange faster. So what I do is, once it's like this, I just put it aside and go on to the next one. And then once I'm done all of those, you can keep using this until, well, I haven't had the solution die on me yet, but you can keep on using it. Right. Attach that. Alright, now, what I had mentioned earlier about the solution turning orange, which is this right here, so that I believe is all base metal. So this solution here has a very small amount of hydrochloric acid. I mean a tiny amount. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour a little bit in it. And that's Glad Press and Seal wrap on it to try and keep vapors down. But as you can see, it's just dissolved all of that base metal. So I'm not going to put it in here because I don't want it to have too much contact with the metal, because it'll just dissolve the metal a lot faster, and I think it'll foul the solution quicker. But in a small batch like that, I would add it to this, just to keep the solution from plugging up your filters later on when you go to recover the rest of the silver. So from here, all you really need to do is pour it through a coffee filter and then smelt it or refine it further, whatever you want. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep on going and recover some more spoons. I've got just a few more to do. Forks are a pain in the butt because you have to get in between all the tines. Something like this is going to be a pain because of all the little indents on it. Knives, you want to be careful with knives because most of the time the handle is stainless steel or steel, and it'll make your solution turn black because some of the iron will get in. So you want to make sure that only the silver plated part is in the solution. Try and clamp it so that the metal is out of the water. So that's it. That's reverse electroplating silver utensils. I'm going to be trying to do this with bigger objects, like I've got this silver plated bowl that I'm going to try. Hopefully it should work the same. There should be a lot more silver on that than on a spoon or a fork. I've got a whole bunch of like platters and things like that. I'll just need to find a larger container or cut them up to fit them in, like a coffee pot or something, a glass coffee pot. Alright, so if you have any questions, make sure you put them down in the comments. If I can't answer it, I'm sure that someone else who watches can. I've had a lot of people help other people out there on my channel, which is great. So make sure you do that and keep watching the show. We've got a few more surprises for you. Oh hey, one more quick tip when you're working with the silver utensils and reverse electroplating. Wear rubber gloves. Right? I know you're not really using any chemicals. Even if you do choose to use a little bit of HCl, it's not enough to really worry about wearing gloves. Why do you wear them? Because if you don't, your fingers are going to be green for days. The copper and everything coming out, it really discolors your fingers. Yeah, I kind of had like troll hands for like 3 days. And no matter how hard I scrubbed and used lava soap and whatever. So, gloves. Alright, so another question that I'm pretty sure I'm going to get on this video is, and it makes sense, people want to know values. They want to know how much silver they're going to get from their spoons or their forks, whatever. The problem is you really can't answer that because the amount of silver on this spoon is going to be different than the amount of silver on this spoon. Okay, there are so many different factors: the thickness of the plating, the quality of the spoon, how worn out it is. So there's a lot of reasons why it's impossible to say exactly how much silver is going to be on something. Sorry. I had something else and I totally lost it. Okay, so another big thing that people are going to know is this method really worth it? Bottom line, with anything silver plated, all right, and this may sound horrible to a lot of people out there, but unless you have major quantities and are able to do it in bulk, I really don't think that there's any cost-effective way to do this. I haven't figured out how much my electric bill is going to change because of the charger. I can tell you that, what did I spend money on? The salt. That was 50 cents for this container, which is 1 pound. And this is enough to run 20 batches maybe. So I know Guy Foster mentioned that he buys these pieces at like Goodwill stores or whatever for like 25 cents each, and is able to pretty much get 50 cents worth of silver off of each one. So I'm not quite sure how accurate that is, but that's what he reports. So there are other methods to recover the silver off of these things. You can there's a lot of videos out there where you just basically take like a pair of bolt cutters or something, you cut this up into pieces and you throw it into a bucket of AP, and it'll totally dissolve all the base metal, leaving the silver flake just there in the beaker. That works. However, 1 gallon of AP will only hold about 2 pounds of base metal. So really not a whole heck of a lot. So 1 gallon of HCl or hydrochloric acid is about $8 to $9. So you would need to recover half an ounce at least to make up the cost of just that. So again, I'm not really sure that's really economical, but it's certainly fun to do, and I enjoy it. So if this is something that you're doing just for a hobby, by all means. Alright, so in this part of the show, this is kind of the end, the wrap-up. I just want to share a few revelations, a few things that are happening, have happened. 2016, as any of you guys who watch my channel long enough know, it's been an interesting year. From the get-go, from divorce to buying my first home, or second home actually, having to deal with a vehicle and shared custody and all kinds of other ups and downs and things. And this year has taught me something. This year, especially dealing with a lot of you folks out there like D. Lundbeck, and a lot of other great people who watch my channel and comment. People oftentimes look at a year and say, "Wow, that was a tough year." But you got to stop and think of all the great things that happen. It's much easier to think of all the crap, but if you really stop and think of all the good things, it's amazing. I mean, yeah, I've had a lot of crap happen this year. Another surgery on my ankle, months of pain dealing with that, but so much great has come out of this year. I've been able to, I think, develop a much better relationship with my daughter. Having a week at a time, just her and I. I've got a home now. That's mine. I don't have to worry about moving again. I've got a pool, which is great. And recently, I just My truck died, so what? Now I've got a new truck. Yeah, I've got to make payments on it for 4 years, but I don't have to worry about a vehicle breaking down on me every day. So that's a good thing. The YouTube channel, yeah, things have slowed down a little bit because there's not a whole lot more left to scrap, but other good things have happened. I made a great contact, a guy named Joe out of Boston, who came up with this U-Haul van full of scrap and stuff, and we developed an arrangement. You know, I'll help him move some of the stuff and recycle some of the stuff. He'll provide it, I'll move it, and we'll split the profit. So that's great. You know, that's what this year has taught me is that life is full of lemons, but lemonade is really good. Everyone likes lemonade, or should like lemonade. All right. So when it hands you a lemon, you make that lemonade, you drink it. It's high in vitamin C, and it turns everything around. Keep a positive attitude. Don't let things get you down. And if you know, I'm not one to make New Year's resolutions, although this year I do want to lose more weight. But you know, I think that would be a great one. If something bad happens, try and find the positive in the situation. Try and find something that's good about it. There's 9 out of 10 times you'll find something good. So that's it. I want to thank you all for watching. I'm hoping that this year I can do one of two things. I can either hit 50,000 subscribers. I tried to do it last year and didn't work so great, but I got about 10,000 new subscribers, which was great. So this year I'd like to reach 50,000 subscribers. My offer still stands. If I hit 50,000 subscribers, one random subscriber is going to get a nice little gold nugget from me. I'd also like to either that or reach 20 million views. So, either way. So, I want to thank you all again for watching. Thank you for sticking with me throughout the years. And I hope that you guys let me know if you like this idea of a 30-minute show every, like the first Friday of every month or something. Alright? So, see you on the next one. I've got credits.